and then it gets fish excited. Okay, back to that, what do you do? You know, I usually break down fishing into a couple ways. We talked about when fish are feeding and they're on the chew, bass, trout, any of that, fishing can be pretty easy, right? Because they're already willing to eat. But what do you do when they're not eating? Okay? I call that a pressure bite. We're trying to put pressure on these fish. You're trying to pressure these fish into eating something when they don't want to, right? So that's where that chum can come into play. Spike, you know, can get them kind of loosened up a little bit. They can get excited. Boom, they hit one. This guy saw his buddy eat one. He wants to go eat one. This guy's coming over. What's going on? All of a sudden, you've got a full-on blitz, right? Now you're chumming. Now that flies over the side and we're hooking fish. Could be live chum. Could be dead chum. Dead chum chunked up into chunks, throwing it over the side. Okay? I'm not going to get too much into that, but I'll give you my quick take on live compared to I'm not sure what the last one is. Live to chunk chum. Okay, with fly fishing, sometimes all you're going to see me do is chunk chum, just throwing chunks. Sometimes you're going to see me throw live bait. Sometimes you're going to see me do both. What we want to be careful on sometimes when we're focused on a fly, if it's fly, what I call fly or die, right? We're either hooking this thing on a fly or we're not hooking it at all. I'm probably just going to chunk, because if they get too keyed in on a natural live bait, they're not going to want the fake feather. Not all the time, right? There's times I can sit here and live, chum live, get them all excited, and we rip as many fish as we want. But there is two ways to chum. There's a live bait chum and there's a dead chum. Okay. Everyone with me still? What's that?
You got me hooked.
No pun intended. Okay, so live bait, there it is, number one tool. San Diego, why are we so successful, or why am I able to do this out here? And that's because of live chum. I think you saw the next slide, but what do you think the second great tool we have is to bring all three ingredients together?
Thanks.
Bingo! Kelp patties. Everyone know what a kelp patty is? Okay, kelp grows out on the coast, breaks away, drifts out into the currents, gets way offshore, gets stuck in these currents. Bait fish congregate under it, creates a floating piece of structure, and gives us a target. Now we have something that says, hey, little whippy stick guy, fly rod guy, come over here. Here's a place where there might be some fish that are up in the upper water column and real close to this thing. Okay? That's a great way for us to catch fish on the fly. And that's 90% of the time gonna be our target is kelp patties. Okay? So now, again, it's another tool. It's a floating piece of structure, keeping fish in the upper water column, getting them within 100 feet of the boat, and it can also naturally get these fish excited. Okay. Without ever being with me on the boat, you'll see when I get up to a patty, if I see bait on a patty, you'll see me leave that thing pretty quick. Okay? It's usually a sign that says, hey, fish haven't been here yet. If the fish have been here, there's not any bait left, right? So when I'm out there and I've got a 60-mile square I'm working and I'm looking for these current breaks where patties will stack in, 10 miles from where I'm at, I may still be, this whole 10 miles will be patties full of bait, and all of a sudden I'll hit a seam on the other side of a little tent break or current break, and all of a sudden those patties are empty. Well, now I'm even more focused. I'm like, oh, that patty was empty. Find another one, that one's empty. Find another one, boom, guess what? Just found a school of fish. They're moving patty to patty and they're feeding other fish. Doesn't mean, and I'm not here to talk about how to fish a patty, but it doesn't mean that the fish aren't there or around it. Or that they only feed off patties. They may chase a school of fish from open water, and that school of fish will jam into the patty to try and get some structure and get away from them, and then they trap them in there and they just go to town. Okay? But it can naturally, without chumming, it can get those fish excited. They're in there, they're in their element. They just munched all this food, or they're getting ready to move and push off. Another one, that's our second tool. There's two tools we have right there. Okay? Putting the three ingredients together. How about mixing these ingredients? Okay, we talked about productivity. Now we got to mix it all together. Okay, we know if I can find fish that I know I can get within 100 feet of the boat and up in the upper water column and get them excited and find the right fish, our chances of success are most likely going to happen. Okay. With those three, we have success. If we add consistency or add productivity in there, now we get consistency. Okay. Those ingredients plus being productive at it, that's how we're going to do this over and over. Okay. And that's how we start getting consistent. I don't know if I spelled consistency right. Consistency.
Tom's correct.
Consistency.
With an A.
Yeah.
You're a fisherman. We don't care about it.
You get the point. Yeah. Need emojis. So consistency. It's just, how do we do this over and over? How do I go in this confident enough every morning and be like, you know, I've got so and so on my boat. You know, we're gonna kill it today. You know, I don't. I go in. I can have 3 epic days in a row, and I'm not gonna get on that boat in the morning and be like, yep, I'm gonna crush it today. That ocean can switch off like that, right? I can start from scratch any day. I can be working fish in one zone for 3 days straight, and they've been biting all day. That next day, those fish move 30 miles over here. Right? Again, finding these ingredients, adding productivity into it, which is managing that time, managing our ability, managing these fish, start getting consistent at this. Now, let's put it all together. Okay. Let's mix. Come on in. Let's mix everything. Let's mix these ingredients, okay? Let's mix up the ingredients and let's add productivity. There's 2 ways to come across fish. There's many more, but I'm going to focus on the 2 ways that we're going to come across fish when we're out there. Kelp, right? We talked about that, congregating. The other one is open water. This is big open ocean, no kelp, no birds, yet there's fish under the water, okay? Open water fish. That's where it gets a little bit trickier, but can still be done, okay? What do you do? What do you do when we take that target out and now say, okay, well, here's a big ocean mark, go and find me some fish and get them, you know, within 100 feet of the boat, and you got the water column. Get me tight. You know, that's the challenge of it. Usually when we're going out, when it gets to this point, when we're going out, before we leave that dock, I know what the fish have been doing, okay? Back to what I just said earlier, have they been patty fish? Have we only been catching fish on patty? And I'm not talking just me, I'm talking about the fleet of boats, okay? It could be just patties we're seeing fish. Is it surface fish, breezers, foamers, right? Are we seeing fish on the surface? Is it bird signals? Are we getting signals out there? Birds giving it away, current breaks giving it away, breezers giving it away. Has it been a troll strike, right? Have they just not been eating bait and only want artificial jigs? Sometimes they do that. They can be on a big, massive bait ball and they won't eat anything with a hook in it, not even if it matches it, 100%. Okay, so going out, we know, I usually have an idea of what the scenario has been, which allows us to put a plan together. Okay, so touching base on what we went through, okay? How to be successful in the key ingredients. Okay, remember the key ingredients is everything. We're trying to put these together. We have our 2 tools to do it. We can find a loaded kelp, we can find open water fish and try and stop them with this massive amount of bait that I just stopped and bought at the bait bars that we're gonna throw back into the ocean so they can go net it back up and sell it back to me later on, right? Pretty much what they're doing now. We take our kelp patty day. Mark, how's the fishing been? I'm with you, you know, tomorrow. Oh, well, it's good. It looks like we'll be fishing some patties. So, you know, plan on fishing, you know, yellowtail tomorrow. Plan on fishing dorado. All these fish will get under a patty. Okay, we can have a patty out there. I've had a patty out there where we've caught every species on it. Okay, it starts out as yellowtail, turns into dorado. You get a little bit farther off of it, skipjacks start joining the chum. Then they're yellowfin are in. Everything can be around these patties, you just don't know. So let's say this is one of those days. Okay, I know it's gonna be a patty day. Okay, well, let's start thinking about our productivity plan. Okay. Now that I know it's gonna be patties, how do I manage my time on a patty? I couldn't do all the pictures with like the tricky arrows and stuff like that, so I brought a whiteboard, so I'm gonna be doing some sketches there instead of the digital way. Did you want to come hold a board for me? Oh, you broke it.
Oh, it's falling apart, man. We'll make it work.
All right, kelp patty. Let's say we're going out, we're fishing kelp patties today. You can, I'll give you a signal when I'm waiting for it.
All right.
Now we have to stand up here. Back to my travel time, my return time, my fish cleaning time, my get bait time. Usually don't eat lunch with me. I usually don't stop for lunch. You can eat while I'm looking for fish. But once you add all those up, now I'm down to this 5-hour time frame of trying to be productive and successful at catching a fish. If I pull up to every single kelp patty I see, and I stop on every patty, and I stop my boat at 100 yards away to sneak up on these fish, and I've got a 1 knot of wind, well, by the time I get to that patty, and by the time I get past that patty and there's no fish on it, I may have just killed a 45 minutes. And I started chumming. Okay? This is where that chum management comes in play. I just chummed from 100 yards over there to 100 yards down there for no fish, right? And I wasted an hour. Now I got 4 more hours. If I do that 3 more times on a patty, our day's over, and we may not even put chum on a fish. Okay? That's time management and that's chum management together. Okay? How much should I be chumming?